Kevin, feeling overwhelmed, leaves his elderly father, Mr. Jones, who is in a wheelchair, at his brother's house. When Kevin learns that his father has received a significant inheritance, he quickly returns, filled with deep regret for his actions. As the day was ending, Kevin had to take care of his father's expenses. His father, Mr. Jones, an 84-year-old man, needed constant care. Kevin counted money to pay Rosa, the nurse caring for his father. He handed her the money reluctantly, frustrated by the ongoing costs. Rosa gently reminded him that his father needed regular supplies like diapers, medicine, and warm clothes for the winter. Kevin, feeling burdened, gave her the money, thinking of his father as an added expense. In the living room, Mr. Jones was watching TV, laughing at a comedy show. When he saw Kevin, he asked hopefully if Kevin would join him. But Kevin's response was harsh. He complained about the work and expenses of caring for his father. Mr. Jones, hurt by Kevin's words, withdrew into his chair, his eyes losing their usual sparkle. Kevin left the room abruptly, slamming the door behind him. The room, once filled with laughter from the TV, now felt empty and sad. Mr. Jones felt alone and abandoned in his own home, his heart aching from his son's unkind words. Inside his car, Kevin was lost in his own thoughts, unmindful of the hurt he had caused his father. His path had veered away from love and respect towards selfishness and ingratitude. Ever since his mother's passing, his father, the small, fragile Mr. Jones, became Kevin's responsibility. As the bachelor of the family with no children and a stable income, Kevin was seen as the best choice to care for his father, though he did so unwillingly. He yearned for freedom and carefree nights, resenting the duty of looking after his father. Kevin's brothers, despite their deep love for their father, were unable to take on this responsibility due to their own life challenges, including busy family lives, financial struggles, and academic pursuits. In contrast, Kevin, the eldest son, treated his father with indifference and coldness, meeting only the most basic needs and begrudging any additional expenses for his father's care. The visits from Mr. Jones' other children were the bright spots in his life, their presence bringing him joy that overshadowed Kevin's neglect. Unlike them, Kevin harbored resentment, viewing his father as a burden and secretly wishing he would pass away to relieve him of his responsibilities. This resentment turned the home into a place where a son's supposed care was actually filled with bitterness. Kevin was overwhelmed with resentment, feeling trapped as the sole caretaker of his father, Mr. Jones. In Kevin's eyes, his father was just a drain on his resources and freedom, a barrier to living life fully. Despite this, the old man's heart overflowed with undiminished love, hoping for even a small sign of affection from his son. But Kevin, absorbed in his own world, remained indifferent, blind to his father's longing for love in his final days. One particularly tough day, after buying necessities for his father, Kevin returned home. Frustrated by a flat tire, he burst in, angrily blaming his father for his troubles. Jones, with tears in his eyes, tried to apologize, but Kevin harshly cut him off, declaring his regret at being his son. This plunged the old man into deep sadness, his tears reflecting a lifetime of love and sacrifice unappreciated. Kevin, unmoved by his father's pain, heartlessly told him to sleep in the living room and refused to assist him to bed. He left his father alone in his wheelchair, enveloped in the shadows of neglect and the cold of winter. Meanwhile, Kevin, locked away in his room and consumed by anger, discovered that his younger brother Michael had secured a job in mechanical engineering, further fueling his frustration. Kevin's mind was clouded with selfish thoughts as he noticed his brother's new job opportunity. He misinterpreted it as a chance to further his own goals, scheming through the night. Waking up with a plan, he found his father, Mr. Jones, asleep in the living room, suffering from the night's cold. Approaching his father, Kevin's tone was unusually gentle. Jones, tearful and apologetic, expressed his regret over the inconvenience he caused. Surprisingly, Kevin responded with kindness, helping his father into warm clothes and preparing a hearty breakfast. This sudden change in behavior puzzled the old man, but he hoped it was his son's way of making amends for the harsh words the night before. However, this brief moment of happiness was short-lived, hinting at the unexpected turn their relationship was about to take. After breakfast, Kevin decided to take his father, Mr. Jones, for a drive, claiming they were going to congratulate his brother Michael on his new job. Mr. Jones, delighted at the chance to see another son and leave the house, chatted happily during the journey. However, upon reaching Michael's house, Kevin's true intentions became clear. He left his father at the doorstep and coldly declared that Mr. Jones was now Michael's responsibility. Overwhelmed with shock and heartbreak, Mr. Jones couldn't believe his son would abandon him so callously. As Kevin drove away, Mr. Jones sat in his wheelchair, drenched in rain and tears, feeling utterly betrayed and alone. He questioned his worth as a father, unable to comprehend how his own child could treat him with such cruelty. Meanwhile, Kevin returned home, feeling a sense of liberation from the responsibility of caring for his father. He reveled in his newfound freedom, believing he had passed the burden onto someone else. However, not long after this heartless act, Kevin discovered he had been removed from the family group chat. This turn of events hinted at a twist of fate, where the universe seemed ready to deliver a dose of poetic justice for his unkind actions. Kevin, initially pleased with being excluded from his family, soon faced a shocking truth. He learned from a neighbor that his father, Mr. Jones, had inherited a substantial fortune from a distant uncle. Realizing the potential financial gain, Kevin rushed to his brother Michael's house, eager to claim a part of the inheritance. At Michael's door, Kevin was confronted with scorn. Michael revealed that their father had disowned Kevin for his heartless actions. Kevin's shock deepened when he learned that his father had been left alone in the cold and rain due to his abandonment. Michael, standing firm, refused to let Kevin see their father and threatened to call the police. Following this rejection, Kevin's life spiraled downward. He attempted legal action to claim his share of the inheritance, but was consistently defeated in court. His family, the cornerstone of his life, turned away from him, echoing his own rejection of his father. Mr. Jones, finding happiness and comfort with his other children, notably Michael, who had taken him in despite his own struggles, made it clear to Kevin that he would receive nothing from the inheritance. Kevin's isolation became his reality, not by choice but as a consequence of his actions. Over time, he began to realize the gravity of his betrayal, understanding the invaluable loss of his father's love. Each day brought a new realization of the depth of his mistake, a man who had forsaken the most precious bond, the love of a father. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and this other story that may be appearing on the screen will most likely move you as well. Have a nice day and see you in the next video.